So about me, my name is Ron. I've been working in blockchain for a while. I'm the treasurer of the Crypto Commons Association. This is an association that does events based on crypto and commons, how we can make the two work together. I'm the lead smart contract developer at Turetzky. This is a voluntary position. It's my passion, and everybody who is at Turetzky is voluntary to some degree. And really our goal is to just help people who are trying to use crypto for non-capitalistic means. That's my Twitter, in case you want to follow. So basically, let's just understand a very simple dynamic. This is the capitalism in post-capitalism, right? So in capitalism, money is invested as capital to produce more commodities, which generate more money, right? So this loop only works if the money that's generated is more than the money that was put in. And a post-capitalist loop, right, or an alternative to this, is when workers produce commodities, they sell the commodities, and they give it back to the producers. Okay? Does that make sense? It's very simply. Any questions? All right. Please interject with questions at any time, violently, if you need to. So, what is post-capitalism? It's reduced reliance for us on capital as the dominant mechanism for resource allocation, right? So today in society, how do we decide where things go? What should be funded? What should receive labor? Usually we're doing it on the basis of capital, of the ideologies of capitalism, free market, and efficiency and productivity and so on. And to be post-capitalist is to reduce our reliance on those mechanisms. So instead of just measuring value as productivity, to measure value in an array of things, right? So this is similar to what Emmanuel was talking about yesterday, when members of their collective started writing down things that they contributed to the community that are not necessarily money or productivity or some measure of efficiency. Decentralized coordination for the common good of humanity. So today, if you take a loan, right, from the bank, and you put up something as collateral for that loan, and then you stop paying your interest on that loan, what will happen? The bank, which is an arm of the state, right, will call the police, which has this very nice feature called violence. And then they will inflict violence on you and take the collateral and pay back the loan. Now this is how we've been doing things for a very long time in society. But what crypto allows us to do is instead you lock your collateral in a cryptographic agreement, and if you stop paying interest, then your collateral will be moved to the bank or whoever you took the loan from with no violence. So this is part of the ethos of decentralized coordination, is that you can enforce financial rules without any violence. What enforces the finances is a cryptographic commitment. I'm not going to go too deep into the tech, but just to give one more sentence of background on this, the blockchains that we have today, there's nobody who can turn them off. There's no one person, there's no one server, there's no one authority that can control the actions that occur there. So once you and somebody else have agreed to some commitment, you enforce it with digital signatures, and then the blockchain will enforce all the actions that you agreed to. Okay? Any questions on this? Just at a very high level. So in this sort of ideology that we have, we still think that the shell of the old, so like the sort of frameworks that we are used to thinking about these things, will have contradictions and will have new questions that we need to solve with this technology. It can also be very scary because we think of technology as something that alienates us, as something that controls us, something that makes us more like robots, but we want to face those contradictions and see how we can make them make us more human, to borrow Emmanuel's point from yesterday. Okay, so what are some examples in our definition of post-capitalism, right? It's a commons-based peer production. So an example of that, again from Emmanuel, right, is when they, the collective, were producing some services, and then they reached out to local farmers and made a connection through the token or through bartering to exchange services. Solidarity economy, so these are like cooperatives, trade unions, consumer unions, free and open source software, solidarity lending. These are all mechanisms which don't adhere to the strict and hyper-efficient, hyper-productive capitalist economic models. I'm not going to go into the rest of these examples of mutual aid, gift economies, civic organizations. Basically, again, things where profit is not the main driving factor. So, just going to go over briefly, just to strengthen Emmanuel's points from yesterday about Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is a deflationary asset. It has a $21 million cap on Bitcoin. It's sort of like this, going back to the gold standards. It's immutable digital private property, right? So it kind of like baked in, it's like, oh, there's no public property. There's only private property. Code is law. So there's no like human oversight in Bitcoin. It's very much only the mechanism itself, and they did not care about the environment. There is maybe a point to argue that the modern banking system also consumes a lot of electricity, but generally there are much more energy efficient alternatives. I don't know if anybody has seen Cowboy Bebop, the anime here, but basically, these Bitcoiners are hoping that Bitcoin will last forever and they will freeze themselves, and then they will be able to wake up in a new world where Bitcoin is worth more and has paid for them being frozen until they can be unfrozen. This just sort of speaks to the quality of people who like Bitcoin. It's these anarcho-capitalist, sci-fi, like the singularity, we're going to have one AI control everything. And it's just to sort of put distance from us and this maybe more traditional blockchain ethos. So, the Bread Chain Cooperative. The Bread Chain Cooperative is a solidarity network of post-capitalist projects involved in crypto. So we share labor power, resources, decision making, and mentorship. And we're doing all of this on the blockchain, and our members are from all over the world. So we meet over video calls in our digital community, right, on Discord. And all payments to people who are contributing to BreadChain, grants, decisions, everything we're managing completely through direct democracy on the blockchain. In a world where only profit-maximizing organizations get funding and support, it's up to us to build an alternative structure, and that is the goal of BreadChain, to support financially and in terms of infrastructure and advice, technical support, building economic structures that utilize crypto in some post-capitalist way. Any questions so far? So why BreadChain, right? Why use BreadChain? Why not go to a more traditional labor union or some labor organization? So blockchain will become more consequential, and BreadChain wants to be the organized, like a movement that is organizing the infrastructure around this. We just saw BRICS Day by Russia that was released recently. They released themselves as a DAO, so they are using blockchain technology, and they're kind of outflanking the West on this. But we can see more and more traditional financial institutions adopting blockchain. This is a hypothesis, we will live and see, but the trend has been definitely that it's becoming more and more consequential. BreadChain wants to be a federation, to be the point of reference for post-capitalists in the blockchain space. It's our philosophy that we need to be within and against the system. I think is also an ethos that Emmanuel said yesterday. And we also are not only trying to make left people crypto, but also crypto people left, which can sometimes be easier because surprisingly, some people's only financial exposure is crypto. Okay, so what are our objectives? To use crypto as an alternative to a competitive and extractive economy, sustainability for post-capitalist projects to help them endure, so funding post-capitalist projects, and build coalition amongst post-capitalist projects, so to make them, pure economy between the projects. We operate under economic democracy, so we're trying to allocate contributors, the people in BreadChain. We try to allocate money to them on a needs basis. The projects that are receiving funding in BreadChain are receiving funding partially based on voting from the BreadChain community. Everything is transparent. We believe in building power from the tech institutions inside. However, we do not receive venture capitalist money, and that will always be the case. We believe in mutual aid and communal solidarity. So currently, these are the 4 projects that are supported through BreadChain. The Crypto Commons Association, as I said, I'm part of. Citizen Wallet is an open source crypto wallet, which today I will be giving out 4 bread to 4 different people. You'll be able to see how that works. LaborDAO is a blockchain organization which tries to organize labor rights and create infrastructure for laborers to unionize. And Symbiota is an alternative events platform which has events that are based on psychedelics and other things which traditional events organizations do not like to host. So our first solidarity primitive, which is kind of a play on words on financial primitives, is bread itself. There's been some research that's been done on bread, but basically 1 bread is worth $1. It's worth $1 because when you want to mint bread, you have to give a token called DAI. And DAI is run by a capitalist company, but DAI basically has a lot of US Treasury bonds and reserves of dollar, so they they can trade this token for other crypto, but always make sure that it's tied to the dollar. So what we do is you give us DAI, and we lock it in our BreadChain app, and then we mint you bread according to how much DAI you gave us. Now you can always get out, right? So you can always, because there's 1-to-1, you can always give 1 bread back and get 1 DAI out, and then use that for whatever you want. Now, when we lock the bread, now it's more, for this year it's been 6 to 12, not 10 to 15, but locking bread allows us to earn yield on it, right? So when you lock your DAI through bread, it is earning interest, and that interest is going to BreadChain. So your value is always, let's say you deposit $1, it's always $1. But if that $1 earns 6% interest, you're donating that to BreadChain. Now, the way this works is that the DAI protocol is a fairly decentralized protocol. It is a capitalist company, it is using the dollar, but they are fairly decentralized, and they do profit sharing. So one of the things that they do is they let you, this is sort of related to derivatives, and when Emmanuel was talking yesterday, where you can speculate on the volatility of something, right? But they let somebody lend. So they let somebody lend essentially by putting $2,000 of ETH, right? Getting $1,000 DAI loan, and they lock this ETH, right? Now, the healthy flow is that they repay the loan and they get back their ETH, right? But if during the time that they took this loan, their ETH went down in value below the loan that they took, which is $1,000, then their collateral gets liquidated. So essentially their loan is void. And this is again sort of, all of this is enforced without violence. It's all cryptographic agreements on the blockchain. So when they took the loan, they knew that they were taking this risk. They knew that they put 1 ETH to get 1,000 DAI, and they knew that if the 1 ETH goes down in value, they will lose that 1 ETH. Now, when this happens, a part of the collateral that the user has lost gets auctioned, and this goes to Breadchain. But essentially, when we are locking your X DAI, we are giving the funds to give this loan, which is why we are eligible for part of the yield. Also, this protocol has other profits that they also profit share through locking the token. I know that this was kind of complicated, okay? But just to simplify it, essentially this is kind of like an on-chain bank that lets you take loans and profits from them, and Bread is appropriating this technology in order to generate yield from users at very little risk. Now, the yield that we generate, right? So our users mint Bread. We receive from them as donation the yield that's generated from their money. And the yield goes to these 4 projects. So the more Bread there is, right, the more yield that Breadchain gets. We basically provide liquidity pools for swapping Bread. We have all sorts of mechanisms to incentivize people to make Bread and keep more Bread in circulation without getting too technical about it. So this infrastructure, if you want to word it as like maybe more traditional financial terms, it's a local currency, local to people who believe in post-capitalism. And it's a credit union where you decide on who to give credit to, so part of our projects. And you can vote on that. There's also certain things that you can buy using Bread. You can buy Crypto Commons Association events, you can buy tickets, you can donate to certain organizations, and there's a credit card integration as well if you're living in Europe or Croatia and some other regions. Okay, so this is the interactive part. If you guys want to take out your phones, the first person to scan each one of these will get 1 Bread. Once the link opens up on your phone, there's a button at the bottom that says Open on Web. Click that button. Noah received her first Bread yesterday. So only 4 of you will get it. So some of you have to be quick enough. You got it? Yeah? Did you click Open in Web?
Yeah, and then claim.
Claim, yes. After the Open Web claim, and then wait a couple of seconds. And now you have a crypto wallet.
It says 0 Bread.
Wait for a couple seconds, it will update. Bookmark this page, okay? In the browser, bookmark it. That's your wallet. Now you can send Bread and receive Bread. You can create a QR code to receive Bread, and you can scan other people's QR code to send Bread. But there you go. Do we have all 4 vouchers? There's 4 people claim?
Claim.
Claim, yes, press claim. You claimed as well? Anybody else?
I did, but
Can you show, did it update?
No.
Can you refresh the page?
Yeah.
Yeah, show everybody. So you can see that he has 1 Bread in his wallet. It works. It's real. I know that we've been talking about like abstract concepts, but there it is. Now this coin is now essentially in his possession, right? And nobody can take away that token from him. So contradictory to capitalist society, right? Where if I go to your wallet, I can take out your cash. In order to take out his crypto, you have to know a very, very long password, which in this case is now stored on his phone. So it doesn't solve all problems, but at least it's more secure than other options. Okay, now in the Europe region, and as somebody who's living in Israel, unfortunately, I don't have access to this either, but you can receive your paycheck to a Monerium IBAN, and this will convert it into bread, which you can use in your credit card, which is really nice. This is something that I believe, for example, when Emmanuel was working with his cooperative, they were not able to load the money into a credit card and just use it anywhere, which is, this technology is constantly expanding, and I believe that we will see more things like this, and crypto will become more easily accessible in the future. So now let's just look at the BreadChain app, just very quickly. So this is the screen where you can mint bread, you can bake bread, essentially. We currently have $3,023,000 worth of bread, or just 323,000 bread, because one bread is $1, right? And here is a screen of how we vote, right? So you get some voting power, and you can allocate points to these projects. The points end up being percentages, right? And then you can vote, and then that will change the allocation between the projects. Let's just take a look at this live. So we can see here the amount of yield going up every second, and in 6 days we'll have a distribution. That is an estimation based on the current rate. It's an estimation because it's changing every second, and then that total amount will get distributed amongst all the projects.
So it's distributed like proportionally, or
So
there is one, the biggest, the one has the most?
No, it's proportionally, and also half gets distributed equally. So half of the yield gets distributed equally, and the other half is based on the voting proportions. And we also have a distribute equally button if you want to, so you can distribute the same for everybody. And also, the more bread you own, the more your voting power counts. So it's sort of like, if you hold 20 bread, you are generating 6% of 20 bread yield, right? And your voting power is in proportion to how much yield you generated. So you get to control your donation directly.
That's risky.
Why is it risky?
Because like tomorrow somebody can come and put, I don't know what, $500,000
Right.
bread.
Yeah.
And that's it, he controls the whole.
I would love that, for that to happen, right? He doesn't control all of it. Half of it gets distributed equally, right? And then he can vote who gets more. And you're right.
But he would have more than 50% of the.
He would be able to, let's say that he did this, right? And he had way more voting power than everybody. And then let's say he chose one of these projects to all of his voting power, right? So now what happens? The other projects get half of whatever this attacker put in, right? And then that one project gets more. So you're right in a way that this model has this manipulation attack, but for us it's okay, because if somebody does this attack, we just earn a lot of yield. So that's our sort of model here. Yeah.
What are examples of products?
Yeah. So Labor DAO is the DAO is decentralized autonomous organization. It's like a blockchain organization. You can also think of BreadChain as a DAO, but it's a buzzword. Anyways, they care about labor rights. They want to use crypto to help workers unionize, organize, get more rights from their employers, higher salaries, and so on.
Where is it?
Everything is international.
International.
Yeah, it's more online than
Okay.
Symbiota is in Europe, and they host events that are related to psychedelics or some fringe topics that other events platforms don't want to host. Crypto Commons is an association that does events on crypto and left values. Citizen Wallet is an open source crypto wallet. It's actually the wallet that people here were using. It's what they were scanning today. And then the Breadchain Treasury and the core team are Breadchain wallets, essentially, that fund our activity. Here's just some stats. This is our roadmap. So we are expanding in all sorts of directions. We've also accomplished some of these goals. This needs to be updated. But I just wanted to point out that of the members that we are seeking for Breadchain, Artist Collective is one of them. So we definitely want to fund, help, advise, and collaborate with artist collectives and artists in general, among other things. I'm not going to go over this whole roadmap. If you want to learn more, you can join the Discord server. If you have Discord, Crypto Leftists, you can follow us on Twitter. You can bake some bread. There's also Josh's book. Josh is the founder of Breadchain. Blockchain Radicals, How Capitalism... Oh, it's out. How Capitalism Ruined Crypto and How to Fix It. There's a code there if you want to scan it on Amazon. And yeah, that's been everything. Maybe we'll open up for a little Q&A. Yeah, Josh also has a podcast. The Blockchain Socialist is his podcast. He actually interviewed Vitalik Buterin as well. Any questions? What is this weird man talking about? Yes.
So we get to have this digital money that we can spend from our credit cards, but it can never be transferred into real money.
It can.
It can. Okay.
Yeah.
Through the banks you mentioned.
Through the let's say that you had some crypto and you wanted to convert it to real money, right? Oh, you mean into your bank account? Yeah, there are also brokers that do this. It is taxed, but yes, there is a way to do it.
Ja, kom op.
Thank you. How to get rich?
How to get rich?
Yeah, if I'm an artist, you need to collect. Something like that.
I mean, this, like, there is maybe some ideas for how this currency can help you. I'm just going to put this on in case we didn't get them all. There are maybe some hostile taxing practices when it comes to cooperatives in some countries, and this can be used to avoid those, because essentially you can do internal transactions in crypto, but you only get taxed when you turn it to fiat, right? And there are also some ways around that. So let's say in your cooperative you wanted to pay a salary, right, to all the members, and if you did this in the traditional world, right, you would be doing invoices and every payment would get taxed and so on. But in crypto, I could essentially pay you 3 salaries, right? And then you take it out to fiat, and then you only get taxed once. And there are also ways to transfer the crypto without paying so much tax. Getting rich from crypto is something that people like Andrew Tate or all sorts of other figures will talk about. I don't recommend this approach. There are some ways to make safe yield, and 6 to 12% yield is, or even up to 20%, is not so fantastical when compared to the financial market. There are financial markets that in the traditional financial markets that earn this amount of yield. And then you can buy the Trump coin, which is a Trump meme coin, and hope that it goes up and get rich from that. And there are people who do this, and they either lose a lot of money or they win a lot of money, but it is gambling.
Yeah.
So is it similar to investing in that way?
The, let's say, degenerate use of crypto So speculating on all these different coins, which are half meme, half coin, Andrew Tate coin, Trump coin, and hoping that the coin will go up is even worse than investing, I would say. But yes, also, you can speculate on stocks, you can speculate on sports, you can speculate on crypto.
Do you think it's possible to explain this to a 3-year-old, like to really bring it out to?
I can try. Which part specifically?
Everything.
Everything? Okay. Let's try. Let's try. Okay.
From the basics.
From the very basics. Okay. Traditional financial systems work by having laws and governments enforce them. Crypto works by having a network of computers all over the world where everybody is equal, has equal voting power. And these computers don't have an opinion on what you're doing. They only check whether you committed to something or not. They don't know what the commitment is, but they will check what you committed to. And if they do, if they find that you have committed to this, then they will execute whatever commitment you agreed to. So again, they don't have an opinion, they just check what you said, and then they execute accordingly. How do they know that it's you? They use something called digital signatures. So your password for your Google account is a digital signature. Your bank account has digital signatures. When you log onto a government website, there are digital signatures there, and that's how they identify you. The difference in crypto is that you control your digital identity. Whereas today, in almost every other platform, that identity is controlled and managed for you. So the link that we gave out, right, that link lets you control a cryptographic identity that is now in your custody and will let you make financial decisions. And this is all enforced by a network of computers that have no opinion to what the commitments are, to what the cryptographic actions are. They are only incentivized to verify those commitments, and they receive some rewards for verifying them. I'm not quite 3-year-old, but maybe
maybe a 10-year-old.
If you're on that tree, can you explain a bit what smart contracts?
Yeah, so smart contracts are essentially blockchain apps, right? So let's make a really simple one, right? I make a bet with Noah that Bibi will drop out of the government, hopefully, next election cycle in Israel, right? And then I can program 3 judges, so I can make you 3 the judges of that. And in a year from now, you will be able to vote. And if all 3 of you vote that Bibi has left the government, the money that Noah locked in the contract will be automatically transferred to me. Okay? So it's a way to sort of program agreements on the blockchain. So this code isn't run on a cell phone, it's not run on a computer, it's not run on the cloud. It's run on a blockchain, which is what assures that it will execute exactly how you define it. Does that make sense?
For example, when you download this app, throw the QR code, nobody asked you another identity signature, no? Like you didn't have to insert your email or go on with Google identity and so on. So this means that your identity in bread now is only a cryptographic string of 25 characters that is locked in the blockchain of the other DAI, you remember the blockchain, but nobody knows that it's your name and surname.
It's completely anonymous, yeah.
And so this is the difference also of many in between many others centralized and not decentralized, not on blockchain, digital signature.
Is it cross-platform then, or no?
Yeah, like platforms in terms of like devices or like different. You can access crypto from anywhere in the world. In fact, we're also working with a cooperative in Nigeria where they don't have access to loans. They don't have access to interest rates or even banking in some cases. But crypto can be accessed anywhere by anyone.
But how does how would my digital signature from my phone go to my laptop or any other device if it's all encrypted?
Oh, you can send it from different devices. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I have my account on like 3 different devices.
Like in Telegram, probably with another QR code, no? That
Telegram actually has its own wallet, its own crypto wallet, if you want to. But there's many different solutions. I saw a question in the back over there. Yeah. Check this in the
What
what's happening?
Okay, one question. Who designed this bread? Because it took me a while to connect with a piece of bread.
But it's the icon design.
Oh, okay. I will pass that feedback on. It's a Jamaican guy named Ruben who designs all of the things for Breadchain, and he's very, very receptive to feedback. And he's a professional. I will forward this. Do you have a suggestion on how to make it?
And one more question. What if hurricane or there is no electricity in some parts where these computers are running the system? And what if system comes down?
So because the nodes of the system, the computers that are running the system, they are everywhere. They're all over the world, okay? So a hurricane is not such a threat because as long as there are still people running the network, it will continue to run. What could happen is, let's say if there's no internet, right?
Yeah.
There's no, yeah. But this technology is so resistant that even, let's say that we are now in a post-apocalyptic world, you know? And there's a crypto movement based on this called lunar punk. There's lunar punk and solar punk. Lunar punks are the pessimists, what if there's an apocalypse? And solar punks are, let's go off grid and do solar energy and we'll solve climate crisis. So the lunar punks say, now there's no internet, there's an apocalypse, right? There are 3 communities in the same geographical area and they want to do trade, right? What they can do is, even if there's no internet connecting them, they can go physically meet each other and give USBs to each other. And the USBs will update the cryptographic commitments, and they can still keep doing trade and taking loans in this way. Maybe even use pigeons if they need to. So this technology is very resistant, but the internet sure does help, for sure.
So now that we've downloaded the wallets, how do we put the first bread in?
Did you scan the code?
Yeah, I didn't make it.
You didn't make it. Okay, so let's say that you were interested in making bread, right? First of all, we have a whole guide on how to mint bread in the website. So you can go to the website and see how you can do it. But essentially, the process is you need to buy crypto, either from a friend in cash or through your credit card in a broker. And then you can take your crypto and you can come to this page and you can connect with your wallet. So you can see I connected with my wallet, which is called postcapitalistcrypto.eth. This is the name of my wallet. And then now I can specify I want to mint 3 bread. I press on this button. It will prompt me. It will say, this is the cost of your transaction. So I'm paying about 4 cents to do the transaction. And then I press confirm, and it will mint me some crypto. The steps of going to a broker and paying with cash, they create you a wallet that they control, right? And then you can send it to a wallet that you control, and then mint the bread. Any other questions for this crazy man, this crazy sci-fi man? No? All right. I think we're good then. Great.